I have to talk you about theocratic patriarchy. I have to talk to you about feminism and laicity, and about attempts done by obscurantists against these two tools for women and men's emancipation. First of all, theocratic patriarchy. Religions were set by men for men. Holy texts were transcribed, studied, commented by these same men who had the monopoly of culture's access throughout centuries. Among all religions, we can find the same misogynous features which led to women's discrimination. These features were used by men and by states to possess women's bodies and spirits. Traditions and religions explained the incapability of women. They interpreted biological facts. First among them was menstrual blood. This led to the register of pure and impure, legal and illegal, allowed and forbidden. Forbidding women's access to holy places, refusing women's visibility next to gods under the pretext of impurities, has led to demonization and taboo excuses for women's exclusions. Women is considered as a source of discord, able to lead men away from his duties toward God. According to Ghazali, who was a 12th century theosexologist, but who is a scientific reference for nowadays integrists, man loses 2/3 of his reason when he is in erection. I don't know if this fact has been verified by the Weight and Measure Service Department of UCA, but it's what's called in all the books for boys and girls in Europe and in France particularly. Married women are getting intellectually sterile because of a heavy load of domestic constraints and ridiculous eating prohibitions, which force them to always think about their own goals. What about feminism and laicity? I am French, so I speak about laicity, not secularism. For all times, there have been some men and women denouncing this hierarchy, using the philosopher Condorcet's ideas, a laic, free, and compulsory call for both sexes. Jules Ferry, French Minister of Public Education, in 1883, explained, "The one who holds woman holds everything. That is why the Church wants to retain the woman, and this is also why democracy is necessary to prevent women from being retained. The human being, man or women, are a free human being, thanks to his reason and critical spirit, in order to be free from any volunteered or imposed servitude." This is the laic ideal. Laicity is the absolute enemy from obscurantists, who bases their domination of population on the refusal of conscious freedom. Considering blasphemy as a felony comes down to forbid people to think and express their thoughts. Laicity also assures in rights, duty, equality in rights, duties, and dignity of women and men, the right to contraception and abortion, ethnicity, violence's refusal, religious or communitarian oppression, refusal of women dissimulation behind the veil shroud, constituting possessional and obsessional mark of women, considered as sexual objects, are founding the living together in France. The civil life has a preeminence on all historical or religious senses of identity, on domestic, local, or clan solidarities. In case of conflicts between groups in order to arbitrate on behalf of general interest, a state which doesn't have the tool of laicity, which knows all religions, but doesn't recognize any, is disarmament. If in a state a religion is compulsory, freedom of thought is no longer possible, as religion is gaining the public power for its own profit, equality no longer exists. Those who don't believe in this religion or interpret it differently undergo an alienation of their fundamental rights as a human being. Unicity is just a front, as the diversity of opinions and the equality of rights are not respected, conflicts and wars of God are developing. In the other side, if within a country all religions are recognized, each group will be able to demand the respect of its own communitarian lifestyle rules. This diversity would emphasize difference and create walls between groups. There will no longer be the emergence of common principles, which are superior to individual values. There will no longer be any mixing between groups. Endogamic wedding would be the rule. Specific education would divide children and young people before opposing adults. So, what about obscurantists and what do they do against gender equality? Women's control of children birth has been a revolution, as it has completely changed the old patriarchal and theocratic order. In addition, the financial independence, the control of their body and mind, freaked out machocrats who send women back to their natural mission, sexual gratification of their husband and household tasks. These machocrats called religious to help. For religious fundamentalists considers the emancipation of women as a reason of all community sins, which will disappear if people were going back to patriarchal and theocratic, submitting human beings and women's acceptance of their own submission. To convince women to go back to patriarchal theocratic patterns, the submission to gods is materialized in earth by the submission of men, of course. They use two ways. One, hypocritical speech protecting women, or an intimidating speech, threat of punishment on earth or in sky, that is to say, eternal, if women don't abide by their rules. The control of fertility and women's sexuality was and remains the force of oppression. The Holy Alliance of all religions fundamentalists, Catholic, Evangelist, Hinduism, Buddhist, Jewish, Muslim, the undermining by preachers found some women were ugly. A voice is given to concerned women of America or Muslim women as they are assimilated volunteer servitude. French Minister Ferry wanted to emancipate women by freeing them from priests. This is the opposite for the Front Islamic Algerian of Salim, FIS. The Muslim women is an irrepressible force on psychological, social, cultural levels. The aim is to channel this force and use its potentialities in the most judicious way regarding the strategy of our civilization. In France, young girls from Muslim affiliation were successful at school, place of emancipation, and would after become independent. They may also get married to a non-Muslim. This fear among preachers led them to veil their doctor, on one hand, while tightening their head, trying to atrophy their brain, and on the other hand, present them as victims of these horrible laïc teachers, I was one, who want to colonize brains of young by teaching them how to think. That is, reject your own beliefs, yes, I could, according to French philosopher. But some compassionate, silly-minded people, under the pretext of cultural relativism, it's racism, tolerate that women and young girls hide behind a veil, so that even when behind outside, women remain inside. These differentialists accept the idea that women are only a sexual tool, a cause of disorder, and that they have to stay hidden while in the public space. It will be their face, their choice. However, it can't be their right. Their personal choice is not a right that the Republic would have to accept. In our state, as in any democratic society, the liberty of one person ends when the liberty of others starts. We have to be free together and not each. In conclusion, tolerating the stigma of submission darkened by women, who are whipped, raped, lapidated, strangled because they refuse to wear it, wouldn't be proof of an open mind. In France, constitutional principle of laicity and equality between men and women are both the key of women's autonomy towards religions and the pillar to resist against fundamentalism. For laicity to concern all women and girls and their family, we must remain silent anymore. We mustn't tolerate the intolerable. We mustn't accept the fact that young girls are conditioned to consider themselves as a unique sexual object. We mustn't anymore abandon cowardly our compatriots who are Muslims, starting by women, under the mercy of political Islam. Faced with nowadays obscurantists, the Enlightenment is essential. As Walter wrote in 1768, let us affront the devil that doesn't exist and the real devilish fanatics of which there are too many. Thanks.